What's going on, people? Hope you're all well. Lamb of God have entered 2025 with the first new song, an original song that they've released in 2025, because they did do a Black Sabbath cover back like 2 months ago, which I've not heard, but I did just check on Spotify that it's not officially their return this year, but it is their first official new song as far as I'm aware, according to Spotify. My introduction to Lamb of God was over 5 years ago when I did my first ever reaction to them, which was the song Memento Mori. Now, this was a very interesting time for me because I was just getting into metal music and like hard rock music, groove metal, all of the different fun subgenres that I didn't even know existed at the time. And I remember this video, I remember the song very well. It's one of those periods of my YouTube life that I just remember very vividly. I think it was around like the pandemic era. And again, I was just getting into a lot of new metal acts. So yeah, they hold a bit of a special place in my heart. I then went on to check out Ashes of the Wake, which is their 2004 album, which I'll be honest, I didn't expect. Oh, that's a bad one. It's staying in. You know the rules. You know the rules. They stay in. Fuck. I didn't expect to enjoy that album as much as I did. Just pure groove metal, baby. So that is why I'm jumping on this song pretty early. It only came out like an hour ago. I did see this pop up in my recommended feed. So YouTube is obviously trying to tell me something that I might enjoy this. Despite the fact that they are kind of like a quote unquote legacy band, they obviously have a massive audience of people that will be from an older generation. Obviously, there is a lot of new people that listen to metal music that are familiar with Lamb of God as well. But I am definitely a, you know, new school modern metal fan that's come in the last couple of years, and I can appreciate what these guys have done for the scene, and hopefully we enjoy the song as well. So Lamb of God, Sepsis, let's go. Oh, this is like found footage type shit. Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project. What's that game? Scream, that was on Steam that I fucking kept dying to pigeons and shit. Every time a bird flew past, I was dying. Oh, that's a Sepsis guitar tone if I've ever heard one. There needs to be a plugin on one of these, like... Hold on. He sounds like he's fucking drunk. Okay.
Rising up from Mexico to cast a righteous grin across the wilted and the waves below. Holy Mother Death, walk with me into the...
This is so Halloween coded, I love it. We're gonna get thrashy. That transition.
Take it to the region, I will bang you.
Little fade out, okay. Alright, Lamb of God. Alright, man. I mean, it delivered from a groove standpoint as expected. That would be one thing that I would always expect from this band, from the little bit of digging I've done on their discography. Like I said, I've only done the Ashes of the Wake as a full album react, and then some of these singles. I believe it might have only just been that one single that I mentioned at the start of the video that was back in the pandemic. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to the song again and we'll come back a little bit more of a deep dive. The video is obviously Sepsis. It's coming out on the 2nd of October. Whether or not it was planned, I don't know, but obviously we're in kind of spooky season. I've just wrapped up watching True Detective season 1 as well, which is very, like, it's not a horror themed thing, but it is very spooky and weird and eerie, and there's loads of weird shit going on. And this is obviously kind of in the same vein with all the like kind of cryptic imagery of, it looked like some kind of like rituals and shit with the fires burning. So that's very much so up my street at the moment with the season 1 of True Detective. But let's listen to this again and just get a better understanding of it, because again, this is not a band that I'm too versed in. And I think the main thing about this that is standing out to me that's a little bit different is the vocal delivery. I think it's Randy Blythe is the vocalist. He sounds fucking drunk in some of these moments, which is kind of cool. It gives it a unique spin to like just any other like groovy band. But let me spin this again on Spotify for better quality, and then I'll come back. Yeah, so I've listened to the song again, and I don't need to go massively into detail with this one. I don't think this is the most amazing song in the world. I think it's a decent return. I don't think Lamb of God is one of these bands that veers too far outside of their comfort zone when it comes to knowing what they are known for, essentially, which is just being one of the better groove metal bands that's existed for the past couple of years. From my understanding, again, that was kind of how the band was sold to me at the time when I was getting into them. And you know, when I checked out the Ashes of the Wake album, I was like, yeah, this is fucking sick. And that was back like 21 years ago now at this point, which is going on 22. But this song, it doesn't do much to like deviate from that sound. It does seem to have like quite a modern mix in terms of how hard the like bass is hitting when the like breakdown happened towards the end, which I don't know has been like a consistent theme throughout their entire discography from 2004 onwards. Again, I've got like a massive gap here, so people are going to have to fill me in. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent. It gets a little bit thrashy towards the end, which isn't my cup of tea across the board. I've never really been into thrash metal. Just the tempo of it kind of sets me off a little bit. I don't mind a couple bars here and there of like whatever, but I generally would just rather kind of, you know, bathe in that groove that we got, you know, towards the start. And then obviously the breakdown, even in itself, a little bit of a slow grinding out breakdown with the fade out at the end of it. Randy Blythe's vocals are the deviating factor in this. Although there is fun grooves and stuff, there wasn't anything that like made me want to turn into a fucking Neanderthal and throw down. But I think Randy Blythe was the main thing in this song that kind of, you know, set themselves apart, that maybe would have differentiated this from other groove metal bands or even like modern bands that are doing similar styles. He did sound a little bit like intoxicated at parts. I've heard again one album and like a single or two here and there, and I don't remember him specifically sounding like, I know he's got that like raspiness in his scream, but even by his standards that sounded a little bit different. So I don't know if that's like massively out of left field for something that Lamb of God would do. I think overall, again, from my limited knowledge of this band, is that this is just a solid Lamb of God track. Nothing crazy to write home about, but I think the people that have been following this band for years won't be disappointed, but they might maybe long for something slightly different. But I think they're so far into their career at this point that people are not expecting them to recreate the wheel. It's just like nostalgia baiting at this point. Give us that Lamb of God sound, you know? So yeah, Lamb of God with their new song Sepsis. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, guys. Leave a like in the video if you did enjoy. That's all from me. Let me know if there's other Lamb of God projects that I need to check out. I'm sure there's other big albums. If you want to check out me checking out the Ashes of the Wake album, that video is available on my Patreon. I checked it out like over a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years at this point. So obviously it's a different me at that period of time. So take that with a pinch of salt, but it does exist. So go get it if you want. The link for that will be in the description. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Cheers.